Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about Australian Dendrobiums. So I'm going to share what makes them special and some differences between Dendrobium phalaenopsis and these. I really like them. They have fragrant flowers. They bloom pretty often and they're really easy to grow. They're very hard to kill. And I really like them, especially the fragrance and how often they bloom. I just find them vigorous. I got this as a keiki 4 years ago, just one growth. And look at it now, it's enormous. This is the Dendrobium delicatum. Okay, so what makes these orchids special? Well, so for me, the fragrance is everything. These orchids, especially the Kingianum hybrids, they smell like roses, so that's really nice. This one over here is the Kingianum alba. There's different Kingianums, and I noticed that they bloom differently, so they're not all the same. Some of them are like lighter pink, some of them are white, some of them are like darker pink. I find them pretty. They're small flowers, but they're very fragrant flowers, and they're hard to kill. So they are lithophytic orchids, which means that they grow on rocks. So they grow in nature on the edge of cliffs. Very little media, very infrequent water. So imagine if you're growing indoors, if you neglect them, they don't decline. They're just very hardy. So that's what I think makes them so special. Getting into light and temperatures, these like bright indirect light, they could probably tolerate direct sun if you acclimate them to that, but I give them Cattleya level light. So that means a southern facing filtered window with like a sheer curtain, or a western facing window is just fine. A bright eastern facing window can work if you get a good amount of sun in the morning. Northern facing, at least here in the northern hemisphere, isn't enough. So bright indirect light is your best bet. I grow these under LED lights and they all bloom. So if you give them pretty strong LED lights, they will grow and bloom just fine for you. The temperature, so here's the difference between these and general Dendrobium phalaenopsis orchids. These can vary between 50 and 85 degrees, so they tolerate cooler temperatures even better than Dendrobium phalaenopsis types. So they do benefit from a night drop, and I give that to all my orchids, a day-night temperature differential that happens naturally with my lights because it's warm in the... It's warm when they're on and then it cools down when they're off. So between 10 and 15 degrees is the differential that they get. So these benefit from that. But because of how they grow in the wild in the winter, it's recommended that they get a cooler winter period. I don't find that it's required. I still find that they bloom without a winter rest. Winter rest being like cooler temperatures in the winter time, it can help them flower more. But I still get blooms. I still get a lot of blooms. But if you can cool them down to 50 is the lowest, 55, 60 degrees in the winter, they'll bloom even better for you. These orchids do handle cooler temperatures a lot better than Dendrobium phalaenopsis do. So that's something to keep in mind. When you water them, you want to make sure that they dry in between. So again, they grow on rocks. So that means you water them, let them dry, then you can water them again. And again, they're drought tolerant. Obviously, don't keep them dry a very, very long time. But when they dry, you water them again. I have them in bark and moss, in clay pots. The clay pots do dry pretty fast. I just watered this one. But let them dry. I'm watering these lately about once a week, and it's totally fine. When you pot them up, you want to pot them in free draining mixes. So like I said, mine is in bark and moss, but I have very dry conditions. These are not fussy with humidity, so you can go all bark if you are in a very dry spot, and it's fine. I just add moss so I don't have to water as often, but that means you can't overwater or they can rot. If you live in a very humid environment, then you don't want to add any moss. Again, these do not need as much humidity as other Dendrobium orchids. So with fertilizer, you want to fertilize these like other orchids. You're more heavy in the spring and summer. You taper it back in the fall and winter. I like weekly, quarter strength every week. But in the winter, you could give these guys a break. Maybe give them fertilizer one time in a month. You don't have to feed them in the winter. And then if you are able to give them that cool temperature, they'll flower even better for you. Okay, the different types of hybrids. So there is the Dendrobium kingianum. This was mislabeled. I thought it was a kingianum, but it's a lot bigger than a kingianum. That behind me is a kingianum alba. They don't get too much, they're like not super big, so they stay pretty compact. This is a cross between the speciosum and kingianum. This is called the Dendrobium delicatum. And this one gets a little bit taller, but not by much. But there's the Dendrobium kingianum, also known as the pink rock orchid. Like I mentioned before, they bloom in different shades of pink. Some of them are white. You have a lot of variety with it. The flowers, I'd say, last about a week. They don't last super long, but you can get a lot of spikes. You can get a lot of flowers with them, and they are highly fragrant. The speciosum, I don't have a pure speciosum, but they give a lot of showy flowers, and I hear that they smell like honey. I haven't smelled it, but that seems pretty nice. A lot of flowers, very showy, but that one is a little bit bigger. And then there is the Dendrobium tetragonum, which has star-shaped flowers. So I have some hybrids from SVO that I haven't bloomed yet. Maybe I will try cooling. So I have some hybrids from SVO that I have not bloomed yet. But those, I think those have tetragonum in them, but they have a starry-shaped flower. So they look completely different from the Dendrobium phalaenopsis types, which is usually a cross with the bigibum, I think, bigibum. So it looks, the flowers are different. So they're going to have a totally different look to them. They don't look like a phal. They don't look like, for instance, the Anobi purple. That's like your classic Dendrobium phalaenopsis look. These look different. So expect them. So these give variety to your collection. And I'm really excited to see my SVO Aussie Dendrobiums. Sunset Valley Orchids has a lot of them. So check them out. Don't sleep on them. These, like I said, they're vigorous. So if you can try them, check out SVO, check out their crosses. I cannot wait to bloom the ones that I got. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, you know, but once you get your blooms going, they keep coming. So we'll see how they smell and we'll see how they look. Hybrids, there's the delicatum, which I just showed you. There's the Dendrobium baryota. That one is common. That one is very vigorous. It grows very quickly. Like I said earlier, like this was a cakey one growth, maybe two. I don't remember, but it was tiny. I got it in 2021, and look at this now in 2025. It was blooming within a year, so that just gives you an idea of the vigor. That's the delicatum, but the baryota, similar thing. I've seen a lot of growers just talk about how vigorous they are. So that's a popular one. There's Jonathan's Glory, which I have from a division from Paula, which is really nice. And that one also smells like roses. It's a kingianum hybrid. There's a lot of different types. I highly recommend you check them out. If you guys have one of these, do me a favor and leave a comment down below. It really helps my channel out. Let me know what you think of them, if you've ever tried them, what you think of the fragrance. And compared to Dendrobium phalaenopsis, if you guys don't have the hot temperatures indoors, because they like it hot, these are good. These are a good alternative. Plus, you get the fragrance. So the one drawback that I can tell you about these orchids is that they are spider mite magnets. So I do tend to get spider mites on them quite a lot. Like if I show you this one, you could see it has spider mite damage right here. The leaves have a lot of sap to them. So that's the one downside, I would say. Otherwise, I find them easy. I don't find them difficult at all, but that's the one thing that I just don't like. You got to keep an eye on them. You can't put these orchids like in a back shelf and forget about them and not look, because then if you haven't checked out the leaves in over a month, you might get like so many spider mites that you lose leaves. So you got to keep your eye on it. Otherwise, I say that these are the perfect, easy to grow orchid. So let me know what you think about these orchids. If you guys want to work more closely with me, consider joining the membership. The details are down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.